got my mum in the back of my mind saying, "Yo, putter, that's good for you, that, or that's bad for you. What you doing?" My mum, I love her to bits. She'll always guilt trip me. Like, you're having these kind of English foods, but they're not as healthy as our Asian food. So how can you tell me you're a personal trainer? I'm like flipping out.
Right. So we're here to talk about particularly Asian men and health. So obviously we're not eliminating everyone else. It's just because it's your focus area, so it's what you want to discuss. I know a couple of years ago we already had a conversation about this and we touched on it. So what we want to do ideally is we want to try and establish pretty much both of our backgrounds, where we come from and sort of where we're heading with it as well. So in particular, what I kind of wanted to touch on was, do you think sort of there's like this taboo area with sort of Asian men and exercise?
Yeah, most definitely. Now, I think in the recent times we have kind of progressed towards it, but definitely I feel around exercise, especially with the older generation, there's not that understanding about, why exercise is important. I think Asians in general are more career driven, and it's all about getting a degree, getting a job, and gym's kind of a waste of time really, and that's something that I think is still kind of a problem within the Asian community.
Yeah. Do you think it's changing though? Like, so I suppose when our parents came here in sort of the 50s, 60s, just particularly from like South Asia for ourselves, at the time obviously they focused on building a life here, and they sort of got into like the housing market, property ladder, then bought us up, then they had to deal with everything else as well. But do you not think over the last couple of decades maybe it is changing, or do you think it's still there at the moment?
I think definitely there's been a big improvement towards it, but this is me, like the elder generation and the more I'd call myself first generation, because my parents were born in Pakistan. And they still have this stigma attached to exercise. You just mentioned then a lot of the guys that came over then, the only focus they had was to come into the country, work as hard as they could and provide for their families.
Yes.
But for us it is kind of different, because they kind of set the way. But now the challenge is for us is to kind of bridge that gap between that generation and our generation, which can sometimes be hard.
Yes.
So I feel that definitely we need to work on that. We need to talk to our elders about exercise, why it's important, because sometimes they might not understand. It's all new to them as well. We have to understand. So that's something definitely I feel that we have come, to answer your question, we have come slightly a long way, but still there's so much in education about exercise, especially within the youngsters. We don't know how we should be exercising, what we should be doing, and that's something that I feel that I need to spread knowledge about.
And I think as well, from what you said, it's not just about the elders, because now you've got sort of, when you get sort of advancements in technologies, what's happening is you've got the convenience of like being able to order things off your phone. So I don't mean just takeaways, but I mean like shopping, everything else as well. And then I'm a culprit for it myself. So if I've if there's a shop nearby, I'll still get in the car and then drive 2 minutes down the road when I could walk it. So do you think that has a big impact? So like with especially like youngsters now, that is having an impact on sort of just having, I don't even mean going to the gym, I just mean in general just being active in terms of walking around the corner. Do you think that's having an impact?
I think it does. Like nowadays everyone's in cars, aren't they? Like, go around the corner to corner shop. It used to be like a walk or get on the bike and go. Now it's just get the car first thing. Now with you just mentioned just the delivery, Uber Eats and whatnot. It's like my local Asian supermarket, Kashmir Watan, shout out Kashmir Watan by the way, is that they're on there too. So literally my mum could go on there and order from there. I could go on there, order from there, and it's very easy. My missus could go on there, order from there. But these are small, and it's funny you mentioned that, because these small things that we do daily is whether we decide to get in the car or just walk it. It makes such a big impact. Like, you might not even realize it, but it really does.
So that's what I'm saying. So I think it's that convenience. So we've obviously gone from sort of like our parents, we discussed that before.
Yeah.
They would have been more active at the time because they didn't have these sort of things where, you know, you could just go on a smartphone and order things. They didn't have to go out and get it. Even if they had to go out and, like, say, speak to a friend or a family, cousin, whatever it is, they'd still have to go out and, you know, make that effort.
But that's why I feel that the elder generation, they're good in the sense it's not all bad news. Like we've got all these facilities right now. They didn't have that, so they would be more active.
Yes.
So they could kind of balance having bad foods, having, you know, the parathas full of ghee, curries and whatnot, because their lifestyles were active.
Yeah.
So they could kind of get away with it.
Okay.
But I feel that with us, especially in this country where the climate's not as hot either, we're not as active. So a lot of people work 9 to 5s.
Yes.
Because we've got that lack of activity. Like, I'm not saying our elders look the best anyway, because they don't. But I feel that a lot of obesity is rising with us guys more than it did them, because we're just not as active throughout the day. And I feel it's a problem. Talking about 9 to 5s now, it is a problem in the sense that, you know, we're sat there all day.
Yes.
Now, my job, what I find with a lot of my clients is that we have to do some deep stretching, flexibility, you know, mobility work, just to open these kind of areas up.
Yes.
When really and truly, we should have that already. So we should be walking. We should be used to, you know, not being tight in certain areas. It should be like normal to us. So I feel definitely it has become easier for us. Lifestyles become easier for us, but then that's a problem.
Yes.
It's a big problem.
Yeah, and that's when you say about 9 till 5 as well. So I suppose humans weren't built to just sit on a desk for, you know, 8-9 hours a day. We're made to be like moving, and sort of sticking in that area where, you know, we're discussing about Asian men and their health, and, you know, people struggling with certain areas. I think what we discussed just before we started doing this recording is it is a taboo area, but also I don't know, like, so sometimes people can make certain statements. So they could say, I don't know, like, you know, someone could make a statement like, oh, you look skinny, or you look fat. And I always think as well, like, you know, those comments, that they might just be passing comments to the person making it, but then the person listening to it might then sort of take that on board and think, oh no, crap, like, I've got to go to the gym now, I've got to be active, or the other way, and then actually think I need to eat more. So do you think that those kind of comments have like a massive impact on people?
100%. And just to give you a story as well about my personal experience. So, you know, I don't know if you know, I come from a background of boxing. So for me, I was quite athletic. I was quite slender. And I'd always get called skinny. I'd get called soft. I'd get called weak.
Yes.
And it's like, I get compared to my cousin, for example. So I'd be like, oh, your cousin's so healthy. They've got this thing, the Asian culture.
Yeah.
And I'm like, Mum, he's fat though.
Yeah.
He's got, like, no disrespect, but he's got a belly on him.
Yeah.
Like, and I just feel that a lot of the aunties, they don't really know the difference. Our elders, they don't know the difference between what's good and what's not.
Okay.
And I feel a lot of us guys, we shouldn't take it to heart when they tell us a certain thing.
Yeah.
Because what a lot of people will do, it's hard, you know, when you get called fat, you get called this, it's not nice. You know what I mean? It doesn't feel good. I don't know if you've had it in the past where someone's called you overweight. But what people will do is that they will, number one, they'll go on the treadmill first thing, they'll sweat it out, when really that's not what they should be doing. They should be going to the weight room first and then slowly incorporating cardio. So I feel that whatever the elders say, just screw it.
Yeah.
Screw it. Just try, as hard as it is, try stay headstrong towards your goal. There's so much knowledge out there. You can pick it up, social media, YouTube. look into exercise, what's actually important for you and what can actually make you look better.
Yes.
Does that make sense?
And that's a good point as well. So I know that's good advice that you're giving, especially to like younger folks as well, because I think it's easy to say that you can do that, but when you're young, you can be easily influenced as well. So it depends on also, I think, the crowd you're surrounded. So like whether people around you are staying fit and healthy, if it's your own family, if it's your friends as well, that kind of has a big impact on that as well.
100%.
So I mean, what
100%.
would you say to someone who's 16, 17, 18 maybe, and I think those are crucial sort of years where you kind of people might be starting to learn a lot more about health and fitness. One of the things that I personally found was there's this vast amount of information, right, that you can access. You've got one person saying you should have 8 eggs a day, and then you've got another person saying that you shouldn't eat any eggs a day. So how do you sort of filter that out?
But it's funny you mentioned about the eggs, because I just want to say quickly, with the Asians, it's like my mum's always told me you can have a maximum of 2 eggs. You can't have any more than 2 eggs. And I've always questioned that. I didn't question it at first. I was like, okay, I'll have 2 eggs, mum. And then I started reading into exercise, and it was like, that's not enough protein. I didn't even know about protein. It's like one egg got 6 grams. So it's just this cultural thing about what you should be doing and what we found out to be true. But like you said, there's so much information out there. And what I'd say to the 16, 17-year-old lads, because they want to get into exercise, they want to get a bit fit, etc. What I would say to them is, first and foremostly, don't look at these big guys on social media. They got big muscles. You need to start with the strong base. So start with your body weight exercises. You got push-ups, pull-ups, squats, tricep dips. All these exercises are gonna help you build a strong base. So don't try look at all these guys that they're gonna. And here's the thing with the fitness industry is that a big guy is most likely gonna push what big guys push. They're trying to feed their business. So they will. It's just something to bear in mind, is that we need to find that medium. I'm not here to say that weight training is necessary. 100% is necessary. But we need to find a balance between functional training and what's right for you, essentially. The young lads, I would never tell them to go and whack out 100 on the bench. But nowadays, I see it in the gym all the time. It's like they're whacking some of these lads are strong though, I don't know what they're eating. And they're just whacking them out. But the form might not be the best, and it's not the best for them growing up. They're gonna cause a lot of injury to them. So
I think it's also like what you said. I think somebody who might just be starting out, in their heads they might be like, right, I need to get going with this. I need to get there now. And I think one of the biggest things is having to go slow and having that patience. Do you know what I mean? So you're not just going to earn something overnight or even over a couple of weeks. It might take you a year, it might take you 2 years, it might take you even 3-4 years. And one of the biggest things that people might sort of think is they might do it for 6 months, for example, and then they'll be like, oh, it's not working, I'm going to give up. So how do they sort of keep that motivation going? If say they've done 6 years and then they've done a year. I know some people, they take regular pictures, they might sort of seeing it in effect. It makes a big difference. So what would you say, how would you tell someone not to give up if they take 6 months or a year?
I think that's a big point. With Asians, a lot of us have the skinny fat build, so we'll be loose on the chest, love handles, a bit of a belly, smaller arms. So for us guys to get in shape would take maybe slightly longer. I'm not saying it's going to take forever, because if you're dedicated, it might take a few months to change your body. It's something called body recomposition. So it's me trying to put on muscle and lose fat at the same time. That can take a bit longer, and this is where a lot of Asians, like you say, they get discouraged. So they'll do it for a month or two, and then what will happen is, we talked about career, life, stress, etc. That gets in the way, and then they find themselves stopping and starting again and again. And this is something that what I would say to the younger guys, the older guys, everyone,
Yes.
men, the sisters in general, is that to keep it consistent. Is when you're gonna go in there, don't go crazy.
Yes.
Implement small habits into your lifestyle,
Yeah.
and only go to the gym as much as you can to begin with, maybe
Yes.
twice a week,
Yeah.
3 times a week, and then build it up slowly. As long as we can do it every week consistently,
Yeah.
then it's going to become second
So
nature.
you're just training your body to sort of adapt gradually, or not just
Yeah.
sort of go in somewhere and think,
Yeah.
right, I could do this right
yeah,
now.
yeah. I mean, it's easily done as well. I mean, Islamically, they say it takes around 40 days
Okay.
to bring a habit into your lifestyle. Like 40 is a big number.
Yes.
Islamically, that if you can do something consistently for 40 days,
Yeah.
then it's kind of second nature to you then. And
Fantastic.
this is another something you can kind of practice, is that if you've got like a goal, you want to do, say, 8,000 steps in a day. So start on day 1, 8,000, day 2, 8,000, day 3, 8,000. But then you get to day 4,
Yeah.
you fell short a bit.
Yes.
Start them 40 days again.
Yeah.
Until you can tick 40 days consecutively
Yeah.
off the calendar, and it becomes second nature. Just keep doing it.
That's brilliant. That's really good advice as well. I think that consistency is the key word that you've used there, because I think that's where people, not just for exercise, but whenever they do anything, if they lose that consistency, then that's where the problems start arising. So you mentioned about weight, and you mentioned about sort of cardio as well, but I think we focus a lot on the actual, right, okay, you be active and everything. But what about the kitchen? This is what. So obviously, you know, from my side as well, where we've gone through sort of discussing food before.
Yeah.
As you know, I used to do sort of meal preps like a couple of years ago.
You're looking very good, by the way.
Thank you very much.
No worries.
So in terms of like the food, so it's good saying you've got the gym, you've got everything else. And I think for us, especially, like we're sort of focusing on sort of the Asian diet, and one of the things that I found is the high cholesterol level in Asians. And I know you probably will agree with me. I can see that it's coming, where you're going to say to me, sort of that diet that we have is. And even doctors used to say this, so there's nothing to hide about it, and we'd rather be honest, transparent and honest, is a lot of the food that we have in our culture, not religion, but more culture, is having a big impact on our health because of the amount of like saturates and fats and sugars, everything else. For example, like the amount of desserts, you might go to an Indian shop where they sell desserts, and the amount of sugar content. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it in terms of you having it, but it's the amount that people have. So how do we sort of deal with that?
I mean, you kind of answered the question then. Moderation. It's like where we go, we have these foods, and we have a crazy amount of I don't know, gulab jamun, rasmalai.
Yes.
So nice, aren't they?
They're nice, but you know what it is? Afterwards, you feel like you just want to fall asleep. So that must be having a big impact.
Because you're just having a load of sugar, and then your blood levels, they come crashing down, and then you feel sleepy.
Yeah.
But in the moment, you don't kind of think that, what does Pringle say? Once you pop, you can't stop.
Yeah.
It's kind of the same.
Or a moment on the lips, a lifetime on the hips, isn't it? Really?
Oh, yeah. I like that. But that's the thing though. It's like finding that medium between these foods. Like these Asian foods, like I'll get clients who'll come to me like, can I not have this? Can I not have that?
Yeah.
It's like culturally in our mind we've got that it's either English food, full stop. And Asian food is bad, full stop.
Yeah.
So I need to go straight to the grilled chicken, all these kind of usual food like potatoes, rice, pasta, kind of things to get in shape. But I tell these guys that's not the case.
Yes.
Like, Asian food gets a lot of bad stick, and they're actually not bad foods. You got turmeric, you got ginger, you got garlic, you got all these foods that are actually very good for your health.
Yes. Yeah.
But where we slack is that we try put too much oil in our curries.
Yes.
Way too much oil. And we make a healthy dish unhealthy. So I think that this is one of these things that we need to kind of communicate, with our mums or spouses, that maybe we can make this curry differently. put maybe less oil, and there's a very delicious curry you can make with 1 tablespoon, 2 tablespoons of oil.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, so say what you mentioned there, like turmeric, ginger, you know, like other herbs and spices as well. I always think that people don't know what the benefits, not everyone, but some people don't know what the benefits of them are. So, for example, like say my mum, if she gives me a beetroot, just as an example, she'll have this like habit of telling me, oh, it's good for your blood, or like turmeric's good for this, or honey's good for this. Did you know what I mean? And when I was like, you know, when my mum parents brought me up, like that kind of, those kind of comments, they stayed in my head. So when I'm eating like pomegranate, for example, or what is good for, so when I'm eating it, I'm feeling like actually this is good for me, so I eat it more. Psychologically, it's left this sort of. So do you think it's important people need to know like what the benefits of certain foods are and what the disadvantage of certain foods are, because that can have an impact on it as well?
100%.
Yeah.
100%. Some of the foods that we have, I think psychologically is a big thing, right? Psychologically, like I'll have it as well, is where I'll have a certain type of food, and I got my mum in the back of my mind saying, "Yo, putter, that's good for you, that, or that's bad for you. What you doing?" And my mum, I love her to bits. She'll always guilt trip me, like, you're having these kind of English foods, but they're not as healthy as our Asian food. So how can you tell me you're a personal trainer? I'm like flipping it. But I think there's truth in what they're saying, but also there is some kind of inaccuracies.
Yeah.
So I think it's up to us guys as youngsters or the younger generation is to kind of look into the foods.
Yes.
Like what is the actual content of it, and you know, respectfully, obviously, we're Muslims. You let your parents know that, Mom, maybe we could do it in a different way.
Yeah.
I think another thing the Asians have as well is that if you say no to a certain type of food, then it's rude.
Yes.
That you shouldn't be saying no to me. You know, it's ungrateful.
Yeah, and I think that's the cultural element of it, because it's nice being hospitable. So if someone comes to your house, like if you go to someone's house, for example, and they offer you like some food, but you might be on not a strict diet, but you might just be watching your diet. So what happens then is you feel rude not to say no. You don't, you know, you're not eating that. So I think it's having that confidence that it's you putting that in your body. And from what you say, like I agree wholeheartedly in terms of how we approach it with other people as well. Like, you know, there's a way and knack of doing it.
It's hard though. Sorry.
It is. It is. And I think what we want to make clear is we're not saying junk food. You shouldn't eat junk food at all. We're just saying it should be, like you said, moderation. But what I wanted to sort of go on the back of that was like how foods might affect your mental health.
Yeah.
And say what you consume. How is it important, like, you look after your mental health as well? Because does your food impact your health in terms of your mental health as well as your physical health?
I mean, you are what you eat, so 100% it does. The challenge we have is to respectfully decline food. Like, sometimes I know a lot of us Asian brothers sisters, we get kind of triggered when our elders tell us a certain thing that they've been telling you all your life, and then you find out it's not true. And then when your grandparents try to tell you otherwise, we get kind of, no, this is my way. And then this kind of, but then what we're trying to say here is that although it's hard, you might get guilt tripped. I know a lot of the Asians, we get guilt tripped into doing stuff. You go to a cousin or a family member's house and everyone's got to eat. If you don't eat, then
there's something wrong with you.
But your dad's gonna be looking at you from the other side like, yo, wait till you get home. You know what I mean? And, got the slipper ready. But it's like it's just respectfully, you know, kind of finding healthy alternatives. I think there's a lack of education on all fronts, and we just kind of need to bring that in. And I always tell people as well that you are the best representation yourself, your image is the best representation to others. So if you're looking good, if you're looking in good shape, then people are automatically going to respect your opinion and what you're telling them.
And I think for yourself, like if you don't mind, like aiming it specifically for yourself, like there'll be people. You're quite good on social media. You're quite informative, and we're at this sort of age of information where, you know, people will scroll through things. They'll watch your stories. They'll watch what you're saying as well. You know, they might take it on board, but they might not sort of message you or react to what you're saying. You know, and even like these conversations that we're having now. So for yourself, I think the character element is what you're referring to. Is you do it, people will watch you, and then they'll take that as influence. And I guarantee there'll be people who'll watch your content, and they will never have messaged you or spoken to you before, but they might actually be taking on your advice and, you know, seeing what, you know, like in terms of what to do as well. So like what just before we sort of move on about what what advice you would give, I know we've sort of touched on sort of the lack of education. We've talked about consistency, having that consistency with the training, and then moderation with the food. So those are real like key points which you know people could take away. But what I wanted to touch on was like sort of your mental health, and you know, like some people, they might have, I don't know, like 5 cans of what's them drinks, them Monster like drinks. And let's say they had 5 in a day. I mean, obviously that is going to, because caffeine is going to take you up there and then bring you back down. Or if you have a full-on meal like a KFC or something, you know, like after an hour you feel groggy as anything. So it's people just, they end up neglecting their health. It's like I find it's like when people hit their late 20s, 30s, and health just goes out the window, because career takes full effect on them. They just want to build an empire, and I get that. We've got families, we want to do the best for them, but it's like around them ages, what people will do, they'll completely neglect it. So you're talking about the Monster cans that people be having, just to keep them up so they can maybe study longer, or they can get more work done. But it's like, have you ever sat down, my brother? Have you ever sat down and thought of, what is this Monster actually doing to me? Yes, well, it's a monster, so
it's
like,
a monster.
not exactly. That we're just a product, but so.
I know it says it on the actual can. It says it on the can, but it's like we don't think about these things, and it's crazy. Like, I just feel that we need to be on it. Like, I train 40-year-olds, 50-year-olds, 60-year-olds, and they tell me the same thing, is that they just wish that they spent their early years exercising a bit more.
Yes.
I'm not here to tell you that you need to go to the gym all the time. Like, when people tell me that when I tell people that you only need 3 hours in a week of exercise, they're shocked. Because they feel that they need to live it for the full week.
I think this goes back to sort of moderation and consistency.
Yes, 100%. It's this thing of like your daily activities. That's why I started online coaching, is because face-to-face training is good, but online coaching is the full package. Like, what you're doing outside of the gym. What have you had? What you're eating for your food? Your lifestyle. Your mental. What's going on in there? We talked about guilt trips and stuff before. That we have culturally, is that how can we fight them? This trauma that we have growing up, is how could we fight that off? And so my thing is that although you're going through stress, although you're going through anxiety about the future, or where your job might land you, how much money you can provide for your family, etc. Just focus a bit on your health. End of the day, it's sunnah. It's the sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ. And I believe, and I'm a firm believer in this, is that when you try and look after yourself and try and fulfill the sunnah, Allah will put barakah in your wealth and in your earnings anyway. So go in exercise with that intention, that I am doing it for the sake of Allah, so I can worship Him better, so I can just ultimately be a better Muslim. It might not even be about worship specifically. It might be about, I can be a better husband for my wife. I can be a better father for my kids. These kind of things are gonna make you a stronger Muslim. they're gonna make people respect you more. And at the end of the day, they're gonna put more barakah in your life.
I think like also as well. So just touching on like
Yeah.
you mentioning obviously being a Muslim, and I think there's what we just want to make sure, and I think it's important we highlight this is the food that we talked about is we talked about like having loads of oil in food, etc. That's more culture.
Yeah.
But when people actually look at a Muslim diet, they realise actually it's quite healthy. It's like you said, you're supposed to look after your body, you're supposed to look after what you eat as well. So I agree in terms of everything what you're saying there, and having that moderation and consistency. But what I also want to say is, like, do you think, like, for yourself, so say one of your trainees, you were out in town and, okay, you're training them, but you saw them one day, I don't know, having a big fat burger from somewhere. Yeah. Would you judge them, or would you just be like, actually, like, I understand, because I think people might be worried as well, where they think, oh crap, he's a personal trainer, or shit, that's my PE teacher. Do you know what I mean? So
I was at a wedding last week, and we sat there with my brother-in-law and my cousin, and they were dead careful with what they were putting in their food, and it's like, for God's sakes, man, we sat next to this, but you're gonna have to be careful now.
Yeah.
And I just felt, but I was like, bro, what are you doing? I was probably eating more than all of them combined.
So they were doing that because you were there?
Yeah. Right? I don't know. They had this thing, this stigma attached to a personal trainer is that this guy, you need to be on it. He's always eating clean.
Yeah.
I don't always eat clean. I have my Asian foods.
Yeah.
But I keep it moderate, but I still have my food. And I always tell my guys is just to, take it easy on themselves. Yeah. Like when they're having bad foods, there's a study, right? They did on maids, and maids, as you know, they're quite active. People, if you don't know what a maid is, looking after hotels, making sure it's clean, etc. So they split it into groups. So one group thought that what they were doing as a maid was not exercise, and then the other group thought that what they were doing was exercise.
Okay.
And the crazy thing is, the group that thought that classed their work as exercise are the ones that lost all the weight.
Yes.
So psychologically, the point I'm trying to make is psychologically and physically, there's a big connection. So if we're having a food and we're feeling guilty about it, then that's going to have a psychological impact. So don't feel bad about it when you're having food. And here's the thing, that if I'm having a food, like having a KFC, and in my mind I know I've earned this KFC, then I'm not going to feel as guilty.
Yes.
Whereas if I've been eating like that all week, then automatically I'm going to feel bad about it.
And then the whole, when you say you feel bad about it, you'll feel groggy. Yourself that when you have bad food and you have a big feast, you feel groggy. But if you have it every day.
Yeah.
And one of the things I sort of learnt was you have from your stomach, there's a nerve called the vagus nerve, and it connects to your brain. So when you said you are what you eat, and how it impacts your health, mental health as well. So for you to then sort of reduce that anxiety about what's going to happen in the future, or about my health and everything. So if you eat like colourful foods or foods that have got a good benefit, that has a big impact on you. So I know we're kind of gone back and forth with like sort of like feeling bad, or you judging people, or and that's never the case, is it? So I think it's important that people understand that element of it, where if you've got a trainee and you've got a plan with them, I'm sure if they failed, or you saw them eating the burger, you're not going to be like, crap, you've just done that.
Of course not. Yeah. End of the day, that's what stops a lot of people from starting in the first place, is that they put that big pressure on themselves. That when I start exercise, I've got to be fully locked in. I've got to eat the right food, and because they don't believe in themselves yet. And I don't blame them for not believing in themselves just yet. I'm here to encourage people to build them up to a stage where they do believe in themselves. But the fact that they're feeling like that from the start stops them from getting started in the first place.
Yes.
So they need to just break it down. Like, it's fine if you if you jump on board and you start training with
Yeah.
me, for example, is that I'm gonna build you up. So you need to stop making it in your mind that
Yeah.
I might not be able to do this.
Yeah.
You know, if you expect perfectionism from yourself
Yeah.
before you do anything,
Yeah.
you're gonna stop before you even start. The main thing is just to take that first step.
So it's what's that word in that says, it's like if you fail to prepare,
Yeah.
you know, you're preparing to fail in itself. So
Yeah, but that's it. That
important.
people take that out of context. Though.
Yeah.
They feel they prepare so much. They prepare so much, and they make small things such a big thing in their mind.
Yeah.
And they just end up doing nothing.
The analogy I'd use there is like
Yeah.
when you were born, you didn't just start walking, did you?
Yeah.
I mean,
Yes,
it'd be good if you
exactly,
did,
yeah.
but like, you know, you learn these
I did.
things. You know, you did. You were sprinting when you came out, but you just sort of, you know, you're born and gradually you start to learn things. You learn to walk, you learn to speak. You know, all these things that come.
Yeah.
And I think that's the analogy that I would use in this. But I think it's fair to use in this
Yeah,
context
100%.
is the fact that
100%.
okay, you might be the fattest person in town, right? Fair enough, no issues with that. But you've got that intention in your mind, and that intention is the starting point. You know, like you thinking, right, that is my intention to get started and get going with it. It might take me 6 months, it might take me 1 year, it might take me 3 years. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
But
yeah.
having that intention and preparing to know, like, you know, writing down exactly what your targets or goals are going to be. Would you agree that say that it's going to have a huge impact?
Yeah, 100%. So we need to kind of break down what we can do.
Yeah.
And it goes back to just sustainability. Whatever you can do it every day.
Yes.
And if you know that this might push you to a stage where I'm not going to be able to do it for a long period, then don't do it.
Yeah.
Build yourself up slowly, and that consistency is what's going to drive home the results for you. You know, don't go hard for 8 weeks and then fall off again.
Yeah.
Keep yo-yoing on and off, which we see a lot of, unfortunately, within the Asian Muslim community. Set yourself these little goals, and I always tell my guys to think, you know, have a mid-term goal and have a long-term goal as well. So don't go in there thinking I wanna lose this much by the end of the month.
Yeah.
Rather think I wanna look like this at the end of the year.
Yeah.
So in your mind, all you've got is I just need to keep it consistent, slowly, you know, build it up.
Yes.
And then within a year, this is what I could actually look like.
Yeah.
And then once you've got that long-term goal, then we can reverse engineer it.
Yes.
You know, I set my guys weekly goals, etc. But it's about finding that long-term so you can reverse engineer it. If you don't know what that long-term is,
Yeah.
then it can be very hard, very easy to get lost in the sauce. You know,
Yes.
doing all these different things all the time.
Yeah, and that's it, wasn't it? So it's I think we've nailed like a few key points here.
Yeah.
So I mean, we mentioned consistency, which is, you know, a big area. We mentioned about moderation. As well, and then sort of, you know, like like we mentioned about age of information, there's so many things. It's having that intention to do that, and then sustainability as well. So I think there's some very, very good points that you've come out from, and I think also as well, like, you know, if you have a car, like, you have to do an MOT every year, right? And I always think, like, say by law you have to do an MOT, right, on your car, otherwise it's not fit for purpose, so you can't drive it or whatever if there's something wrong with it. In the same way, why don't we have that with our own bodies, where we do like a, you know, like a, not like an annual check, but at least check it often, you know, go for like fitness or medical tests. Would you recommend that? Or would you
I do. I always ask myself, why is it that we're so reluctant on starting exercise? And it usually stems from a few things, and they're self-limiting beliefs. Like, a lot of guys, they have a low self-esteem, so they're feeling bad about themselves. They have low self-belief. They don't believe they can do it.
Yeah.
So that leads to self-sabotaging behavior then. So if I'm not feeling good, and if I don't feel that I can do a certain thing, what I'm going to do the exact opposite, because it makes me feel comfortable. So, and that's easily done. So I feel, because you said, okay, we should, you know, like a car, you take it every year for an MOT. It's it's easier for people to take their car physically to do an MOT
Yeah.
than it is for them to change their lifestyle habits that have maybe been with them for years and years. And you know, this is why, like me for example, I'm a personal trainer. When I tell my clients that I actually have my own personal trainer, they're like, huh? What do you mean?
It's like a barber having a barber.
Having a barber, yeah. But they're looking at me like, oh, I thought you knew everything. You got your own personal trainer. Like, come on, there must be some hope with that. But I've leveled up so much because of my big up my personal trainer, ZB Performance. He's been on my case. But I need that accountability. And that's why I tell my clients that we need that. End of the day, as much information that I might have, alhamdulillah, I've done my degree qualifications, etc. I'm still human. I still look in the mirror, and I still feel bad about myself. Sometimes, you know, that maybe I don't look that big today, or I might look. You know, when you go home and you have like different mirrors.
Yes.
You got your favorite mirror. You got the one that you look absolutely crap in. Yeah, and it's like, then he'll be on my case. He'll be asking me accountability questions to make sure I'm still on point.
Yeah.
But it's just bridging that gap between human emotion and the actual result that you're trying to get, because that's what I tell my guys, accountability is so key. You're not always going to feel the best, but if you want the best result, I'm not here to say you can't do it on your own, because 100% you can do it on your own, but I'd recommend that you look at what's your performance been like in the past year, the year before it. Have you actually been able to sustain it for a long period? Or are you going to try it once again and fall off once again? Because it's not easy. We all got our habits that we've been living with for years. A mentor, a coach will reverse them habits slowly. Now, you think of it. If you had, are you more likely to stick to something if you had no one in your case, rather than if you
But you've got to kind of answer to someone in a way, haven't you? So I think that kind of that helps as well.
100%. I mean, they're not buying a nutrition plan. I'm not trying to sell, you know, anything right now. Right now, I'm talking about why coaching, because I strongly believe coaching is important. Is that why is it that I've not been able to keep it up? Like, they're not buying the nutrition plan. They're not buying the workout plan of me. They're buying into me, the accountability factor. And I could give you the plan, I could give you the diet plan, but why do people not stick to it? Because they're not able to reverse their lifestyle habits. So that's something.
It goes back to as well, like sort of, you know, like if you're working and you've got other commitments, you've got to try and balance that out as well. Because if you've got family, kids, and then you've got to try and earn a living as well. So I think people would find it difficult to sort of find that sort of, you know, middle ground where, okay, you can just fit like an hour in or 2 hours in during the week to do the exercise. But then saying that at the same time, these same people might then be like, oh, just watch this series on Netflix. You know, it's like 4 hours long, for example. So you found time to do that, but not found time to, you know, do the other. So I think that accountability.
A lot of my job is just breaking people down to the point that they realise that they're the reason that's holding them back. It's so easy for us to fall back on excuses about why you're not in the best shape. I've heard them all. I've literally, I've got a long dictionary of them.
Like it's in the genes, it's in this, it's in that.
Genetics, for example, this and that. It's not that. It's just that you look at your lifestyle. What can you change? What's in your control to change? Let's not focus on what's not in your control. You can't change that. The only thing that's going to do is drive you crazy. But what can you actually focus on right now in your life? That's gonna you know,
so like you make your own choices and you live.
Sorry, I was thinking about the excuses.
You can take it away. There must be so many that you got. But I think we've touched on a lot of key points like consistency, accountability, you know, like communication as well, and then also not judging people as well. In terms of what you said, I think there's that fear that when you're at that wedding and somebody's eating that, you know, like going to the corner and eating it or whatever. I think those are big areas, and just sort of wrapping things up. I think we've touched on the main points which impact sort of, you know, especially like, you know, like our backgrounds. and how it affects our health as well. And one of the key points you mentioned sort of just a few minutes ago was like these human emotions. You've always got ups and downs, so you could be the most like positive person in the world, but it doesn't mean that you wouldn't have days where you're down, you know, do you know what I mean? So you might have that, but it's how you then control that element of it. So I think from what we've discussed, there's a lot of areas where we've gone through, but one of the areas where, in terms of training and everything else, like, you know, how you might sort of approach, you know, people that you might train as well, it's like being that person where people look at you as like the character of what you're doing, and you influence them without even you saying anything to them. Do you know what I mean? So they might just see you in the gym, or they might see you eating healthy. They might look at that and think, actually, that's the way I want to, you know, do it myself. So I just wanted to sort of differentiate between these people who call themselves personal trainers, and what they do is if someone's eating something or they're doing an exercise in the gym, and they try and sell a personal training session by going, you're doing that wrong, or you're eating that wrong. Do you know? Have you ever come across that before? And I'm saying this because I've come across this where instead of selling the idea of personal training by you just being you, you're trying to force a sale by guilt tripping what we mentioned before, and I don't think that's the right way to do it.
It's so. And this is a problem. It really annoys me in the fitness space, is that it's either you do this the right way, or there's the right way, the wrong way thing, all the time. And it's like, bro, people are going through stuff. Everyone's going through stuff in their life. Not everyone is like you. Personal trainers need to understand that not everyone is like them.
Yeah.
They might not have the time that they have. They might not have the right environment. You know, people might call him, we talked about this before, people might be calling him fat, etc. Aunties calling him this or that, their colleagues not respecting them.
Yeah.
Everyone's going through stuff. And my thing to personal trainers would be, bro, you just got to be a bit more empathetic with people.
Correct, yeah.
And you'll probably get better results because of it as well, because you're understanding people better.
Yeah.
And talking to the people that, you know, feel bad, they feel that they have to be a certain way. They're looking at all these influences online and they're thinking, why am I not like that?
Yeah.
Don't feel bad about it.
Yeah.
Just get started.
And it's that coaching element, isn't it?
The coaching element, and there's the culture element as well. You know, I wouldn't call it, it's probably the wrong term, fragile ego. It's not a fragile ego, it's more that a lot of Asian men have been talked down upon for pretty much all their life by different people. They don't get the credit they deserve.
Yeah.
So my job, how I see it, is build guys up, build our brothers up, build our sisters up to a place where they believe in themselves.
Yeah.
And this is where we need more of. We don't need the shaming culture.
Yes.
No, that's done. We need an encouragement culture where we can actually empower people to get into the gym, no matter what their circumstance, no matter where we need to start them from, is to just encourage them to take the first step.
Yeah.
You know, and then just believe in yourself.
Yeah.
Believe in yourself enough to get started. The rest, leave it to your environment, leave it to, I don't know, you might have a workout partner.
Yes.
But if you get into the gym, you might have a partner that's going to encourage you to stay on it.
Yes.
And that's something that's going to help you, you know, keep it consistent.
That power of words, like what you just mentioned there, like you've probably motivated so many people in your lifetime, you know, when you've done your content as well. But it is that power of words, isn't it? Because I think it's brilliant, sort of, you know, saying go to the gym, eat the right foods, etc. When we're saying that, but I think people need to hear these kind of words as well. So, like, you know, if you're a little kid and they draw a picture and they put all their time and effort into it, and you give it to someone and they go, all right, that's crap. That kid's going to feel like atrocious. He's going to be like, well, I'm not going to make that effort. Whereas, like, if someone's going to go, wow, that's brilliant, you know, like, give them that little bit of, like, motivation. So I think for yourself, and that's exactly where we know each other now. I've seen your content, I've seen, you post different things, and I think just even making, like, you've made these little snippets where you go, everyone has good days, bad days, etc. They have a big impact on people. So what would you say, so summarising everything we've discussed, what would you sort of give, you kind of touched on it already, to be honest, but what would you sort of say to people who do want to, get to the gym, want to eat healthy, like they might want a personal trainer, what would you say to them? How would they get started?
The first thing I'd say is believe in yourself. Whatever childhood trauma you've gone through, I got into personal training because I've got my own childhood traumas, and whatever person who is in that position, they feel bad about themselves, is just to put your faith in somebody to guide you through that process. If you think you can do it on your own, do it by all means, but just get started. Get yourself to the gym and try surround yourself in the right environment.
Yes.
The environment is so key. And like I say, don't be one of those Asians that wait too long. They'd be like, I've heard this a lot as well. I've got high cholesterol through my family anyway. I'm gonna get it at 40 anyway. Right now I'm okay. Just get started right now. Do something that you're gonna be proud of yourself in the future. A lot of our brothers, their parents. I want your children to look up to you. I want your kids to be people that, when they look at dad, he's a strong role model for them. I don't just mean mentally, I mean physically as well. So when you tell your kids to do something, go to the gym, they're gonna listen to you. It's not just lecturing them, do this, do that. But you are a representation of yourself. As Muslims, we need strong Muslim men. We need physically strong Muslim men. I believe we're protectors, I believe we're providers, and this is something that we shouldn't take lightly at all. And if you're in a place where you feel down, where you feel out, is set yourself little goals and work your way up. Whatever you're going through in your life, whatever stress you have at work, with your colleagues, with your partners, it's not easy. Life's not easy for men. You've seen the depression rates go higher and higher. Is that just encourage one another, be nice to one another, encourage your friends to go to the gym. Tell them, maybe don't have this, don't shame them, or just educate them about exercise. And another thing I'd say is, just be nice, man. Just be nice. Like,
you should have, I would say, you shouldn't even have to say that. It just should come naturally. Like, okay, fair enough, in school we might grow up and, you might have people that might bully each other or whatever and make comments, but when you get to a certain stage of your life where you're past adolescence, I think that should just come naturally. Do you know what I mean? So it's like you shouldn't be making those.
I know, but I feel it's our duty to remind one another, because sometimes we get caught up in like banter, etc. Banter's banter, but there's a point where people take it too far. And just be that person. I've been personal training for years. I've met so many different people, different ages, different experiences. People go through stuff, and you'd be surprised what someone's going through as well. So the sheer thing of just being nice to someone will go a long way.
Absolutely. Like even making like small gestures that kind of have an impact on people as well. And it's really good that you say that, because I know we've sort of spoken about sort of religion and sort of Asian men and everything, but also as well, just overall, I mean, it's the fact that you just need to get on with each other and have that sort of, like how we're having a conversation right now, just have that open, honest conversation with people. Like we mentioned before, like, with your aunties or uncles or parents, whatever, you need to be sort of having, and I think that's where that whole communication aspect comes in, because it's not something people talk about as much as they should do. I think gradually over time, maybe over the next decade or so, next couple of years, that might have an impact. But these are the types of conversations people need to be having with each other.
Sorry to butt in, but communication, that is a key word. Like, within Asians, the communication
Doesn't
it's not the best at all. I don't know. We might be improving from our parents, grandparents' time slightly, but men just don't talk. They don't. And this is another thing I want to talk about. When I say men don't talk, and you might have heard this a lot within mental health, is that talk your problems out. But I don't think we should be talking to people about our problems all the time, because you've now made a problem, a more prominent problem by releasing it to someone.
Yes.
They might not even give you the best advice. The best person to go to is your Lord.
Yeah.
You know, how many times have you raised your hand in front of your Lord and asked yourself to be fixed? Yes. How many times have you done that? I mean, he's the best. I mean, I'm far from perfect, but what I do is I target Muslim Asian brothers because I want them to not lose faith. Yeah. The best faith that we will always have is from our Creator. The best form of strength we'll always have is from our Creator, should I say. So go to Him. So
religion, like, it's like a form of meditation as well, isn't it? Right. 100%. So, and then years ago when I thought of meditation, I had this like sort of impression or image of, you know, like sort of someone in India with their fingers crossed like this going on, right? Same. But now, like, when you start understanding things and you start looking into it, like, you know, you're meditating, so you're switching off from the world for like even like 5-10 minutes, 15 minutes, and you know, something simple as like, I'll go back to my mum saying that, or when you walk in bare feet on the grass, like that has a healthy impact on you. So it's a form of what you call grounding. And I think it's nice that you touched on that as well, because we talked about the physical, the mental health as well, and how food impacts your mental health, but also what you just said there, you know, just taking, like, whether you're religious or not, you know, it's nice, but even being religious, that's still a form of meditation, because you're taking time out and you're switching off from, and it's changing your brain waves.
100%, you're right. Spirituality, I think it's a massive thing. We need to kind of connect, you know, spirituality with physicality, and you know, what I'd say is, whatever religion you're in, as long as you're submitting to someone, it gives you such a sense of power. Faith in itself gives you so much power that anybody else wouldn't. So whatever problems you're going to, hitting on the mental side a bit more, is that go to your Lord.
I think that's where you say, when it like that spirituality element is you just slowing down, you know, you focusing on something else, and it's giving you that comfort as well. So I think it's good points you made there as well. So physical, spiritual, and mental, all having a massive impact on everything. Really, it's gonna sort of. So you're saying that all those three areas would then sort of, like a jigsaw puzzle, kind of just put everything in like a nice format.
Yeah, definitely. It just gives you that structure to your day as well. A lot of fitness is about structure, you know, doing things at a certain time, eating at the right times. Prayer gives you that kind of structure to your day. So that's something that I definitely recommend. And but yeah, a lot of points we mentioned there. I don't want people to listen to this and get like overwhelmed. So yeah, we'll summarize.
Fantastic. So I love it, because everything we mentioned, really on point. I'm sure if people have questions, they can just drop you a message and have a chat from there as well. But really nice to speak to you, Ali.
Me too.
You know, really good information there, and I hope that a lot of people take what we've discussed today on board.
And last question last point I got to make. Sorry, is just whatever you take from this. The number one thing is try and be accountable to yourselves. Whatever situation that you're in, look at what's in your control. Try and change that, and try not to, you know, whatever trauma, whatever childhood experiences you've been through, just get started. The main thing is for you to get started. So
excellent, nice one. Thank you so much, Ali.
Thank you so much.
Appreciate all that info today. And
anytime. Thank you for being on.
We'll get some KFC after this.
Straight KFC, man. Let's do it.
Right, see you later.
See you later.